All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Monday, September 25th, 2023. It was the last day of Yom Kippur, the most holy day of the year in Judaism. And on this day, you blow the ram's horn 100 times. It's called the shofar. You blow it 100 times. Funny enough, the Los Angeles Rams tonight got their 100th all-time loss in the regular season versus the AFC. They are playing the Bengals in a rematch of Super Bowl 56, but you blow the Rams horn on Yom Kippur 100 times. Go figure that they get their 100th loss. They could have stayed on 99 losses. In Gematria, Yom Kippur equals 99, but think about that. They came in with 99 losses. They pick up the 100th. Anyhow, the focus here is Deion Sanders and what we said before a single NFL game was played, that what he does at Colorado will be scripted alongside what they do in the NFL. And, of course, this past weekend was Deion Sanders' most hyped game yet versus the Oregon Ducks, considered one of the best teams in college football. And Deion found himself down 42-0. And we know what 42 is in black history, especially in the world of sports with Jackie and Moses Walker and so many other examples that we've talked about over time. But notice just before that game, this was CNN's top story the day before the game. Deion Sanders' audacious blackness makes him the hero African Americans want right now. And again, CNN's been working overtime the last decade to keep everybody ultra focused on race. And again, as a reminder, there are no black people, there are no white people. You'll never see any person that's a shade of either of those colors. But again, they want us so focused on race, and the same people who do this are the same ones who script your sports and put the same numbers on it again and again and again. And what do we know about 42? It connects to words like slavery, Tuskegee, the N-word, February, Black History Month, and the list goes on. Martin, Malcolm X. And when we think Martin, Malcolm X, remember, neither of them were born with those names. But anyhow, down 42-0, ended up scoring at the end to make it 42-6. And the thing is, until this loss, Deion Sanders, he played for 5 NFL teams in his career. He played for Atlanta. He played for San Francisco, he played for Dallas, he played for Washington, and he played for Baltimore. And prior to him losing with Colorado, his former teams were 11-0. And remember, in Gematria, black equals 11. Like this headline about his audacious blackness. But his teams were 11-0. The last win of his teams was the 49ers on Thursday Night Football, 2 days before the Saturday game. After he lost on Saturday, Atlanta lost, Dallas lost, Washington lost, and Baltimore lost. So they were perfect while he was perfect with Colorado. Then once he loses, all of his teams lose. And again, think about the probability of it working out that way. I mean, we're talking about astronomical odds. And again, you start to pay attention to how sports are, you start to see the script. And it's just like what happened with the Miami game. Again, Miami scored 70 points this week, one of the highest scores in Super Bowl era history, the most points scored since 1966. Well, Miami scored 70. Their star quarterback, Tua, played for the Alabama Crimson Tide. In Gematria, Alabama Crimson Tide equals 70. And at the start of that week, a former Miami Dolphin, Hubert Ginn, who was drafted in 70, died. And he died at age 76, and then the Miami game was on 76 date numerology. But again, just college and pro. Also, the day before Alabama, they won their game with 24 points, and then Tua on Miami got his 24th NFL win on the 24th. College, pro, scripted, rituals between the leagues. And again, everything being so date specific. But to go back to Deion's first win with Colorado. Again, it was 45-42. 45-42, right? There's the 42 again. A total of 87 points. The game was in Texas, where Deion used to play for the Cowboys. And again, they talked about how there were 87 newcomers to the team, Deion's remade team. 87 newcomers, 87 points in Gematria. Cowboys equals 87. Again, the game was in Texas, and so does Buffaloes. He's coaching the Colorado Buffaloes. Perfect scripts. And in light of all this focus on Deion while he's age 56, again, in Gematria, Black Lives Matter equals 56. This huge ritual happens in NFL Week 3 when you spell out 3 as a word, it equals 56. And again, Super Bowl 56, 3-point game. Odell Beckham, number 3, scored the first touchdown of that game. Born on the day, leaving 56 days left in the year. Went from Cleveland to LA like the Rams started in Cleveland once upon a time. Tonight, the last game of Week 3 is the rematch of Super Bowl 56. Once again, a 3-point game. We had a good hunch it'd be a 3-point game. Another thing we had a good hunch about tonight is that the home teams would split tonight's games on Monday Night Football, because then home teams would become 9-7 for the week on the day leaving 97 days left in the year. And what's funny about September 25th, the day leaving 97 days left in the year, is that when you spell out September 25th as words, it also equals 97. So home teams 9-7 for the week. Last night on Sunday Night Football, home teams fell to 8-6 for the week. Las Vegas equals 86. The Bucks lost the first home game tonight, making home records 8-7. Philadelphia Eagles 87. Monday Night Football 87. Again, you learn this gematria knowledge, the practice of coding numbers into words. You can see how the games are scripted. Undeniably. And again, I mean, why are people not catching on to this? How do people not see the mockery week after week, season after season? Is anyone paying attention? I mean, where's all the sports fans that sit on their ass all Saturday and Sunday and watch the games? How many of them is it dawning on in their mind like, wait a minute, all of Deion's teams were perfect and then he loses and then they all lose? Again, these things are so improbable without a script. And just to remind about Deion and his son, we've talked about Colorado being the 38th state in order of statehood forever. When Colorado lost to Oregon, they became 3-8 at Oregon all time. In Gematria, Colorado equals 38. In addition to it being the 38th state in order of statehood, Oregon also has the Gematria 38. And in the case of Deion Sanders, his son, his birthday is the 38th day of the year, February 7th. I still don't know how to pronounce his son's name. I've seen how it's spelled. It looks like Shader, but it's not that way. Both of their names in Gematria. So Colorado, when you use numerology, equals 38. When you don't use numerology, Colorado equals 83. And Oregon became 8-3 at home versus Colorado. But Deion's full name, Deion Lewin Sanders, equals 83. And his son's name also equals 83. So just think about how perfect that is. And it was a big controversy last year when he left Jackson State. Remember, so much focus on Jackson last year, on Michael Jackson's birthday. Jackson, Mississippi was flooding. NASA was trying to do its latest moon mission in tribute to the moonwalker. If you've never seen my work on Michael Jackson turning 11, the year of Apollo 11, the moon landing, going with the other moonwalker, go back and check out that work. But last year when all of that stuff was going on with Jackson, and we were getting Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black, as they would say, female Supreme Court justice. Around that same time, you had Deion Sanders leaving the historically black college for Colorado. A big controversy at the time. But then again, you just check the gematria on his name, his son's name, and again, start to realize that probably was never Deion Sanders' decision. These celebrities, they're like puppets on strings. They have the talent to play the part, but again, are they making their own life decisions? You follow the clues, it looks like not. And the story too with Deion having to cut off his toes. I mean, that's awfully suspicious. Right up there with Ronnie Lott cutting off his finger at halftime in the Super Bowl. But again, if you want to verify that these things equal 83 in Gematria, you can run it at any Gematria calculator. My website has one. Again, there are 4 base ciphers: the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. Again, most simple cipher, Colorado 83. The alphabetic order numerology, Colorado 38, like we just talked about. Deion's full name with numerology's 83. And again, his son's full name. His son apparently only has a 2-part name, first and last, but in reverse with numerology, his son's name's also 83. So, and again, for the person to say, well, you have 4 ciphers, so anything can equal 83, again, not true. My name does not equal 83. First and last name doesn't equal 83. With the middle name, it doesn't equal 83 either. You can't get anything to equal 83. My dad's name, first and last, not 83. His full name, he spells it. I had to think about how my dad spells his middle name. Is it with a V or a PH? It's PH. His name also. Or no. Hold on. I'm tripping. My dad spells his name with a V. But either way, with a PH or a V, it wasn't 83 either way. So, yeah, again, just a lot of people will leave comments like that. Well, you have 4 ciphers, so probably get anything. Whenever people leave comments like that, I'm like, did you try it out yourself? Did you see if, because you have 4 ciphers, you can make anything equal anything? And it's not just that. It's the fact that his son, the star of the team, is born on the 38th day of the year. And we've been talking about Colorado and 38 rituals a million times over. So here's the latest. And again, just the rituals with Black history in 56 as well. Like the first black president, Obama, winner of the 56th election. So, and you know, with the big Jesus piece, Society of Jesus running the whole show, just think about it, you guys. Just think about it. Think about how big of a joke all of this stuff is. And think about how much money and time and energy the American people put towards these things. I mean, look at these fans. Did you see the Notre Dame fans? Did you see the Notre Dame fans? The way they lost to Ohio State? And again, just simple little gematria. How many times have I talked about Notre Dame equals 41? How many times have I talked about Ohio State equals 40? Ohio State became 4-0. Notre Dame became 4-1. And just the fans, I mean, they went all around the stadium after Notre Dame got shocked at home. And you could just see the students who were just in disbelief. They already felt like they'd won the game. In a way, it was like, how didn't Notre Dame win the game? They stopped Ohio State with hardly any time left and should have been fairly easy to run out almost the entire clock. Did Notre Dame call a timeout to stop the clock for Ohio State at the end? I want to say that they did. But again, this is why the world needs to wake up to what's going on. It's rigged. It's racist. Ritual sacrifice is a part of it, like we just made the point with the Miami Dolphins game, the latest of a gazillion examples. And the man they sacrificed, he has the same birthday as the upcoming Super Bowl, Hubert Ginn, drafted in 70, as Miami goes on to score 70 points. And you can look him up right here. Drafted by the Miami Dolphins. Oh, I take it back. He was the 211th pick, which is similar to the Super Bowl date upcoming on 2/11. So, oh, and by the way, the point I was making earlier also about this game today with the Rams on Yom Kippur, where they blow the Rams horn. Remember, this is the 104th NFL season, and isn't it funny that the Rams stayed on 104 wins and picked up the 100th loss? Just like how the remember the first player to score a touchdown this season. First player to score a touchdown this season for the 104th NFL season was, forget how he spells his name, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And look at his full name, Amon-Ra Julian Haru J. St. Brown. I mean, one of his middle names is a single letter. And again, I had that call to the NFL league office years ago talking about, just like some of these player names you guys are coming up with this perfect gematria for the rituals. Again, the first touchdown of the season scored by this man whose name equals 104. Amon-Ra Julian Haru J. St. Brown. And St. Brown sounds Catholic. And Thursday is named after Jupiter. And again, Peter, the Catholic Church. Jew Peter. Peter's considered the first pope. And of course, Thursday has the gematria 35 like Catholic. Like how we're always talking about 35 Thursday. Like how the ref for that game was number 35. And Dan Campbell's 35th game with the Lions, and Jared Goff had 35 pass attempts in the game. And the Lions got their first win in Kansas City in 35 years. But yeah, these are a cast of characters born to be on the athletic stage, if you will. I'm sure there's some people who make it to the NFL who got there through hard work and effort and skill. But a lot of these guys who are the big names and the legends of the league, whose birthdays are always perfect and who are perfectly synced up with all the key rituals, again, that's not their story. Literally born and bred to be. You know what else was funny is the Braves and the Yankees lost games yesterday too, and right after Deion's loss, and of course he played in Major League Baseball for those teams as well. So, anyhow, the real point of this show is to get the conversation going with the people who do go to these games, whether they're college games or pro games. We need to have a real conversation with the people who are going to these games, investing their time, money, and energy, and find out why they're doing it. Why are you doing this for a rigged effort that also involves ritual murder? And with that said, once again, we will open the phone lines to see if we can get any of those people out there to potentially have that conversation tonight. And maybe part of the reason those people are not catching on is because they're the same people in this world that are not looking for any answers. Just like they're just marching along, not thinking about anything. And again, if you don't ask questions, you won't find the answers. So let me see here if the phone line is open. One second. I got to make sure the line's open. Okay. The line is open we already got our first caller here. It's coming from Jacksonville, Florida. 904. Yeah, what's up?
Today for like the first time in a while. It was crazy with the Eagles game. I know you have a lot of trolls, but it's crazy, man. I seen it. So if you were watching the game, neither team could like move the ball at all in the first half, right? And
hold on. Let's start. All right. The big number always on Monday Night Football is 33. How many Monday Night Football games this year have started 3-3?
Like an idiotic interception, then the Eagles get the ball back and drive down and get a field goal. The halftime score 66.
Cincinnati equals 66.
And then the Rams come out and make it 9-6.
Again, just these real-time betting situations. So often when the halftime score points to a certain team, it's a good sign for that team. Cincinnati has Gematria 66. The score was 6-6 at halftime. Then the Rams took a 9-6 lead. It was still pointing to Cincinnati. Cincinnati 96. And again,
Wait, didn't home teams end up 8-5 before tonight's games?
no, last night home teams fell to 8-6 in Sunday Night Football. Las Vegas equals 86.
Okay.
And then Philadelphia Eagles equals 87 like Monday Night Football. The Bucks lost first tonight, so home record became 8-7 like 87. And then Antonio or AJ, what's his name? What's the guy that went from the Titans to the Eagles? AJ Brown. Yeah, it was 87 days from his birthday. He had a monster game in terms of yardage. And
And then they pushed the narrative like Joe Burrow isn't even going to play, and then like stuff like this.
and you know there was nothing wrong with him. That's just the Vegas bait, you know. So yeah, he was.
They know exactly who's going to win because you could tell by the real live betting odds. It's like, okay, the Rams are pushing the ball down the field, they're scoring. The Bengals can't hit anything, but they're like just going to stay the favorites throughout the entire game almost.
Yeah.
Also, I had a question. Are you going to start like decoding like ranked matchups in college football?
I'm going to start college once baseball's over. I'm even debating on just watching baseball this week and actually doing the college football this week because I think more people want the college than the baseball. But we've been doing baseball all year, so I want to see the season through. And had a nice night in baseball today. Would have been perfect in baseball, but it's funny. It's funny. I reversed one. I gotta stop. Almost anytime I reverse my opinion on a game, I get it wrong. When I originally did my notes this morning, I had the Astros beating the Mariners today, and that I flipped it around, and that's the one game I got wrong. But anyway, so
Yeah, but I just want to say appreciate you, man, and the work just continues to not blow my mind, but it continues to make me laugh at this point.
yeah. So anyhow, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call. All right, take care. For the trolls for GG33 in the chat, GG33 definitely doesn't own me, and he'd be in here himself. Yeah, for anyone who knows who GG33 is, he used to call into TFR every Wednesday night until he got humiliated too many times, and he hasn't tried to talk shit since 2016. Again, there's no contest between the two of us. The man's a clown. 402, you're on.
What up, Zach? How's it going?
It's going all right. What's up?
What's up, man? I got my buddy here. I'm helping him out and stuff. We're sitting here. I'm trying to wake him up, man. We're at the casino this weekend. So I put him on game now, you know what I'm saying? Now he sees what it really is, some of the number rituals and stuff. So I'm calling in to encourage anybody out there listening to grab a buddy, grab a friend, and wake them up. And let's do this thing together.
Indeed. And as you say that, I'm just reminded of this whole Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing. She's never been a part of an NFL narrative before this season. Her full name, Taylor Allison Swift, equals 104 to go with the 104th season. And her first and last name, Taylor Swift, equals 51. First game that we get attention that she's at a game. The score's 41-10, a total of 51 points. And then what's funny is Travis Kelce had 69 receiving yards. Both of them are 33 years old right now, and their birthdays are 69 days apart. So, go figure.
Wow, doesn't get any more scripted than that, huh?
And like we've always said, scripted from the final score to the box score.
Yeah, the celebrities, they don't even, choose who their partner is. Their partners are chosen for them,
And that's obvious as well when you just pay attention. So, and again, Travis Kelce's talking about how there's all this drama and there's no even real information out there. It's like all a big secret. But yeah, again, this is just another contrived storyline for the season. So.
Yep, there's plenty more to come, so stay tuned.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
All right, listen to my first statement, everybody out there. Grab a friend, wake them up.
Yeah, I like that. And thanks for doing that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Yeah, take care. Oh, I didn't hang. Sorry, caller. I tried to pick up. It didn't do it fast enough. But here's Travis Kelce right here. 69 receiving yards. And again, you measure from his birthday to Taylor Swift, she'll see they're 69 days apart, both 33 years old. 267. 267. 267? I don't know what that is. 573.
Hey Zach, I just jumped on the stream. I don't know if you're going over like next week football or anything, but did you notice that Ron Rivera can get his 101st win on 10-1 versus Philadelphia next week?
Indeed, and the other thing is he's on 91 losses right now, and that game's on the day leaving 91 days left in the year, just like it was the day of the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting back in 2017. And again, Washington Commanders equals 91, and they changed their name to that in their 91st season. So could it be deja vu? Because that happened last year. Remember, Philadelphia got their first loss of the season to Washington last year. So
That's crazy. Yeah, another one I noticed is the Bills coach with his 101st game on that day, and then fucking Doug Peterson. I think it's either he can go for his 101st win or it's his 101st game too.
yeah. So
But yeah, they're good value. It's either like plus 265 or 295 or something like that.
Indeed. Last year, the Eagles got their first loss again to Washington, and it was on the date November 14th, the day leaving 47 days left in the year. And I forget what the actual 47 stats were that got picked up in the game, but of course, DC is the land of 47, so you might want to look at that game and see. But yeah, anyway, your observation about 101 and the 91 could definitely play.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.
But yeah, here's Travis Kelce birthday, October 5th. Here's Taylor Swift birthday, December 13th. 69 days apart, magical number, right? Yin and yang, these two together. But then also, just what are the odds that his box scores 69 yards? What are the odds? And one other thing about it being the year of Super Bowl 58. Here, let me just let me plug in her name. Everything we talked about. Taylor Swift, 51 points in the game. Taylor Allison Swift, 104 for the 104th NFL season. Also 76 forwards, and the date of the game she attended was a date with 76 numerology. Just like how the Dolphins player who died, he died at age 76. Again, drafted in 70, right before the 70-point win. But Swift alone, her surname, I noticed her surname has that 58, so that is something to think about. 803.
Hey Zach, this is Jay. Just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate all your notes and all your work. I was looking at baseball, and one thing that I did notice, and talking about NFL as well, about a Super Bowl narrative, the Chiefs. I know Patrick Mahomes is a part of the Royals, and right now they're 54. They have 54 wins and 102 losses, and there's 6 games left in the season. If they can get 4 wins and 2 losses, they can be 58 and 104. Like how is Super Bowl 58 and then the 104th season? And right now they've been on like some sort of crazy winning streak. Apparently they're like one of the best teams in September, so I thought that was something pretty interesting to look out for.
Do you know what the Royals record was in 2018, the first year that Patrick Mahomes was a starter?
Oh no, what was it?
I'll give you one guess.
It was the same as the Super Bowl.
58 and 104. Yeah, the Royals' 2018 record, again, this was Mahomes' first year as a starter, 58 and 104. And it is Super Bowl 58, the 104th NFL season. You got this Taylor Swift thing. She has the same numbers. And again, I did tell you guys this the day the Super Bowl ended. I said the one team that could potentially become 4-2 on the 42nd day of the year in Super Bowl 58 is the Chiefs. So Chiefs definitely, it wouldn't shock anybody if the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl and won. But they do have a really straightforward narrative if it does happen. It would be almost a picture-perfect numerical ritual. So All right, man. Yeah, good thinking too on the Royals. That's exactly how you do it. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, bro.
All right, later. Monday Night Football is really kicking my ass, though. We did have a good thought that the home teams would split tonight, and we knew it could go exactly this way. What was funny about this week is, again, 3 and 56 are a magic pairing. This is NFL Week 3. When you spell out 3 as a word, it's 56. Goff got his 56th win this week. The Cardinals stayed on 56 losses versus the Cowboys in the big upset of the week. 263 is the 56th prime. Bill Belichick got his 263rd win and did it over the Jets. And again, the 3 Jets on 9/11 where the flight numbers add up to 263. There were 4 planes on 9/11, but the 3 that supposedly hit buildings. 11, 77, and 175. The only 56 that didn't play was Stafford. Stafford could have stayed on 56 road losses for his career in the Super Bowl 56 rematch. 916.
Hey, what's up, Zach? I know you was talking about 56, but the home record for the prime time is 5-6.
Oh yeah, because it was 4 and 5 coming into tonight, and they split. So yeah, 5 and 6. Yeah, yeah.
So then, I had called in about the Lions game. The home teams would be 6-6, Lions 66, and then Kansas City is 67. They play the Jets on Sunday night. So like sometimes they'll go off that, or sometimes they'll go off the home.
Here. I haven't even started to look at week 4 yet. Let me get up here what you're looking at. So home teams 5 and 6. I see what you're saying. Packers are at home. If they won, they could make it.
Because that's that 19-3 on the coach, because he's 19 and 29, and that game is 19 weeks and 3 days from Super Bowl 58 on Thursday. It's a 44 right there. That got to be a 44.
When was the last time Detroit was the favorite at Green Bay? That's funny. So.
Yeah. So then Kansas City, and then I don't know what's the Monday, because I know last week it was the date numerology of the overall, because the Saints made home team get that 19th, and then on Thursday it was 19 date numerology with Briscoe and Debo Shine.
Well, here, just follow your logic all the way through. You said Kansas City equals 67, which it does. So you're assuming that the Packers are going to win and make it 6-6 in prime time for the year because Lions is 66. Then the Jets will lose to make it 6-7. What's Seattle Washington equal? 68, right? So.
Yep. 68.
Yeah.
That's 68.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Because then the Packers play on Monday next week, and if Love wins, he'll be 3-2. And what's the Monday Night Football number? 33. And then the Raiders play them. So if they lose to Chargers, they'll be 1-3 and in 13 land. Then they'll hit their 23. You know, so I've been kind of studying just like the prime time to try to catch that pattern. You know?
Oh. Hey, sorry. I was looking at. I had to look from Jordan's birthday because Jordan Love's first game of the season was perfectly synced with Michael Jordan, and
Yeah, it was a 1-1-2 too. It was 11-2. Super Bowl day 2.
yeah.
His birthday.
I just wanted to make a point about tonight's game, the Philadelphia game. Just again, Philadelphia has that gematria of 2-2-3, and they had to have a safety to make the score 22-3. I was like, come on, man. Yeah, the score was 22-3.
They made it 22-3.
You didn't see that?
Oh wow.
You didn't see the score was 22-3? Here, look.
I was asleep.
Look at this. I'll put it up here so everybody can see it. Yeah, Mayfield took a safety to make it 22-3.
Yeah, man. But I be seeing all types of. But even going back to the Sunday night, I forgot to say. I don't know. I blanked out with Jimmy G. He fell to 7-4 against at home.
Oh, yeah, big Raiders number. And just like how the Steelers got their 74th win. Steelers got this. If you go back and look, Steelers got the 74th win versus the AFC West all time. Again, Raiders in 74 always plays. And if you look at the box score at halftime, Pickett had 115 passing yards. You'll see these things all the time at halftime if you pay attention to see how scripted the games are. But Raiders is 115 in reverse. So.
Yeah. And then I was also looking the week 6 with Dallas because they're going to be kind of synced with Deion. But I know Deion's going to lose to USC because they'll be 3-2. USC Trojan is 32, and the coach, he could pick up his 71st win. Colorado Buffalo 71, Deion Sanders 71, and then they'll fall to 3-3. But the same thing will happen to the Cowboys because they play on Monday night, week 6, and that's 33 day numerology, 41, whatever. So I'm trying to get the next couple weeks like the prime time, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's gonna be nice media news for the Cowboys to lose, whatever.
Yeah.
If they lose to New England, because New England has the head-to-head numbers. They got that 87 and that 43 and then 34-day numerology. But if they lose, Dak will have 38 losses, and they play the Niners on Sunday night, and that'd be a 39 right there. Boom. That'd be that 39 special.
Okay.
Niners is 39, SNS is 39, and then they come back and become 3-3 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Yeah. Good observation.
And then looking at their AFC records, they're on 111 and 39, so they'll be like Super Bowl numbers. I don't know if that will it be a sign or something to watch, but they'll hit Super Bowl numbers in this AFC because then they play the Bills too, and that'd be like the little Saturn 30-year. I don't know, but them records is down. It's 1-1, 1 and 40 or 39. So they're I don't know. They could be a sign somewhere. But what was it? And then I know the 112's getting hot with the Jaguars and this is their last home game, so they got to stay on that 112, and the Falcons can get to 10-12 against the AFC South. I seen a 112 for them, so that's been smoking like the last 2 games. That's been a good factor, But yeah, but I think the Cowboys are gonna ride with Deion this little slump. It's gonna be a tough couple weeks for the Raiders and the Cowboys, and then they'll bounce those 2 fan bases back on Monday night. You know what I'm saying? With big wins on Monday night. But that's really it, though. Whatever. I appreciate your work and all that.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Trying to let people know. But yeah. All right now.
All right. Have a good night. Oh, didn't switch over quick enough. Yeah, sorry, you guys. I just switched the mic setting. I forgot. The mic I was on is not good for picking up the calls. This other mic's better. My bad. And thank you to Daria for the reminder. And yeah, Andy Reid did pass Tom Landry and got his 271st win, the 58th prime, in the game with Taylor Swift there as well. That's true. So Andy Reid, again, we were talking about Swift is 58, like the Super Bowl number this year. Andy Reid got the 271st career win, the 58th prime. And then he used to coach the Eagles, of course, which was last year's Super Bowl. I see that Jalen Hurts had net 271 yards tonight. You guys see how the Eagles scored 25 points on the 25th, and then again today leaves 97 days left in the year, which is the 25th prime number, kind of like how in the 97th NFL season they moved the touchback to 25 yards, and that was the year that Brady beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl on 2/5 with the 25-point comeback. Notice how Falcons is 25. Notice how Tampa Bay, where tonight's game was 25 as well. And Mayfield with the 25 attempts. Go figure. 619? When I answered it, hung up. $586.
Hey, Zach. back. I just want to say another terrible weekend picks. Congrats to the winners, baby.
Sorry. Oh, and then he hung up like a loser. It wasn't, though. It wasn't another terrible week. Again, look at the whole Friday and Saturday was very good in baseball. Sunday, the games we liked. The only one that hurt us on Sunday that we liked was the Saints, who blew the 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, but we liked the Browns a lot. We liked the Seahawks a lot. Those are the games we liked a lot. We thought the Colts had a real good shot at an upset. We knew the Cardinals had a shot against the Cowboys. Again. So, but again, that's a loser right there. He just calls in, screams in the phone like a little dick, and then hangs up because he knows if he hangs around, he's going to get smoked in the debate. So, anyway. $619.
Hey, Zach, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what's up?
Coming from a personal perspective here, I want to talk about, just real quick, I'm going to be real quick. I'm going to talk about my family, my father. He's just so into sports. And when I tell him that the game's scripted, and this Deion thing, for example, he's just so into the Deion thing. My father's older, he's 70, and I've been telling him, Dad, this stuff is scripted. Just think about it. I had a one-on-one conversation. I said that all the schools that Deion Sanders could have went to, he went to Colorado. Do you honestly think one of the whitest of the white schools is going to call Deion Sanders to recruit him to coach his? Think about this, Dad. Just honestly think. And he's like, whoa. I'm just realizing my family can't be saved. These people out here watching these games can't be saved. It's almost like they don't want it. And I think about, is it in the food? Is it in the water? I mean, how do these people not wake up to see how scripted this shit is? It's blatantly in front of you. And I told him, I said, Dad, there's going to be a 42 in this game. He was kind of in shock and awe that I predicted the score. I said, there's going to be a 42 in this game. And I told him, Deion Sanders will probably go in his first 6 games 4-2. Why 42? Well, because the word 42, this is what the word 42 means. And I said, think about Jackie Robinson. Out of all the numbers in the world, do you think Jackie Robinson picked the number 42 or it was given to him? He's like, oh, and I'm just like, nobody can be saved. My family can't be saved. And I think about the movie Gladiators, how just keep the people pacified. And as soon as he started winning and people were, but behind closed doors, you got Caesar and you got people doing crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, they can't be saved, man. I don't watch any of the games. I don't watch no football. No, and people are shocked. I'm 6'2", I'm about 220 pounds. I'm pretty athletic looking. I work out in the gym.
Sure.
And they say, oh, you're going to watch the game this weekend? And I say, no, I don't watch that shit. And they're in shock and awe that I don't watch any football, any basketball, any baseball, no college. You're not going to, especially these women. The NFL and these sports have worked on women so hard. As soon as they get to work, all these women, because I work around a lot of women, oh, did you watch the game, the basketball? I said, when the fuck did women become so crazy about sports, men's sports? You don't hear them talking about the WNBA. You hear them talking about the NFL game and the NBA game. And I'm like, this shit is insane, bro. That's all I have to say, man.
Yeah, I understand everything you're saying. I don't know if you saw when we went to Seattle for the MLB All-Star game, but I talked to a lot of fans there, and it seemed like at least 2 out of 3 really got it, and we had them thinking about things. But then I would ask some of them after they were listening, I'd say, okay, so assuming that I'm right, that it's all scripted, would you still watch the game? Someone would think about it, they're like, I think so, because it's still fun to watch. It's like, oh, man. Don't you understand? It's like, don't you see these people are fucking with you?
All they do is distraction. If you're entertained, watch them. But I'm saying, guys, this is all a distraction. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than a movie. It's no different than a TV show. All this shit is scripted. But not only is it scripted, it's ritually, it's ritually satanic. It's demonic. People dying, You know, and it just goes over people's heads now when I tell them stuff like, oh, this person was killed, you know, for this ritual, for this ritual. You know, you don't even go back to the Kobe Bryant thing. Come on, guys. Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash on the 25th. Think about it. They couldn't believe it. Oh, my God, Kobe Bryant's dead. Everything is all real. And I said, yeah, but LeBron James just passed his record the night before. Think about what a coincidence. Oh, my God. And my dad was watching golf that day. He was watching the PGA Tour, and they had announced it right on the PGA. Kobe Bryant's dead. Who the fuck cares? Like, who cares, bro? Shit.
Again, just to remind people about Kobe. Again, the season he finished, 2016, that November after the season was over, they put out the Kobe Bryant After Death shoe, Nike did. Kobe Bryant After Death, just think about that. And then days later, Comedy Central ran the Chamberlain Heights episode where he dies in a helicopter crash, and it came out on 16/11, the 16th day of the 11th month, that cartoon, like how the King James Bible came out in 1611. And then the season that Kobe dies is the season the Lakers signed AD, Anthony Davis, after death. And
right, exactly.
And again, Kobe's last season, Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins both died right before it started. The first two players out of high school, like Kobe's out of high school. And 1982, Moses Malone did the ad for Nike for their shoes, carrying the staff like Moses in the Bible in Exodus. And funny enough, Exodus and Gematria equals 74. Moses Malone was drafted in 74, and Kobe died during the 74th NBA season. But again, in Exodus 4, Moses doubts God, and God turns his staff into a snake like Kobe's the Black Mamba. When Moses Malone did that ad for Nike, that was 1982. That was the year Kobe Bryant turned 4 years old. And then Moses Malone, that NBA Finals upcoming, won it 4-0. And again, those NBA Finals that Moses Malone won that year, they started 60 days after his birthday. And then what happened? He died at age 60. And then Kobe dropped 60 in his last game against Utah, and who drafted Moses Malone out of high school? Utah. So this doesn't go on for all of our lifetimes.
That Kobe Bryant, for some reason, it popped up in the YouTube feed. Kobe Bryant scoring 65 points one day. I was like, why is this in my feed right now? You know what I mean? So that was weird to me. Like, okay.
Well, hey, what was Kobe Bryant's career high?
In Gematria, bro, that I don't even tell people about Gematria no more because they just don't fucking get it. So what I say is use your common sense. Just use common sense because the talk of the world right now is Deion Sanders. The talk of the world right now. Well, today at work it was the Miami Dolphins scored 70. I said one of the most special teams out there scored 70 points. Ooh, what you do? But the whole Deion thing. I'm saying, guys, you don't even need Gematria to see how scripted this shit is. I don't watch the games, but I go to the press conference just to see the dumb shit he's gonna say, and like his first press conference, do you believe? And I'm like, this dude is a fucking actor, bro. And then he's always wearing a Jesus piece. He's always got the sunglasses on, like sun god. And I'm just like, these people got the cowboy hat on. And then you said something at the start of this, at the start of this stream. All his teams lose. Damn, that's crazy. Now, he's going to USC to play USC. He's going to lose. We already know that. So what if the crazy is all his teams again loses again? You know what I mean? That would be crazy, dude. Like, that's just weird to me. And people can't wake up and get what's happening.
Yeah. Some people can, but a lot seemingly are unwilling or something's blocking it. And you said in the beginning, is it in the food and the water? Absolutely it is. So...
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate the call.
That's all I had, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you have a good night. Yep. 201. 201. Okay. 929.
Hello, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Zach. How you doing, man? This is Rich, man. I've been following you for some years, man. I appreciate your work. But you did a story on my uncle a couple of years ago. My uncle played for the Knicks. He won a title with the Knicks in the 72-73 season, right? Mm-hmm. So quick thing. Now, my brother was murdered 2 weeks before my uncle passed away when you did the story, right? So my uncle wore the number 43. He wore the number 43, which was 7, right? My brother's life path number was the number 7. My brother dies on January 7th. Now, my brother was born in New York, but he was murdered in North Carolina. My uncle was born in North Carolina and died exactly 2 weeks after my brother was murdered. I never understood that.
Who was your uncle?
Hawthorne Wingo. You did a story on him a couple of years ago. You did a story on him on your page, on your YouTube channel. And I was trying to get in contact with you because I'm like, hold up. Now my brother was named after my uncle, who won the title with the Knicks. And 2 weeks before my brother was, after my brother was murdered, my uncle, they had a big ceremony in New York at Madison Square Garden for my uncle. My uncle died exactly 2 weeks after my brother was murdered in North Carolina. Now, my uncle is from North Carolina and he dies in New York, and my brother is from New York and was murdered in North Carolina 2 weeks before my uncle suddenly passed. That was crazy. It's to this day, it's still crazy to me.
It wasn't in Winston-Salem, was it?
No, no, he was born in I forget what no, but my brother was murdered in Durham, North Carolina. But I forget what town my uncle was born in. But my uncle is my dad's brother. Played for the Knicks. He wore the number 43. Go look him up. You did a story on him. But the thing about it was, I wanted to find out the connection with my brother. Because like I said, my brother's life path number was number 7. My uncle wore the number 7, which was 43.37. And my brother happens to get killed on January 7th. So I'm like, what's the odds of that?
Yeah, what are the odds of that?
And you do, like I said, I've been following your YouTube for years with the whole 9/11. I've been telling people about you, my coworkers. I'm from New York, and I've been telling them about you. And I've been calling you for a long time. It's the first time I ever got in touch with you, man. But like I said, man, I just wanted to know what was the correlation with that, because we always hear about famous people, but for it to hit home, you understand what I'm saying? For it to hit home that my brother was murdered in North Carolina, and 2 weeks after my brother was murdered, my uncle, mysteriously, he dies, and then they had this big ceremony for him in the garden. So I was like, it was crazy. It was crazy, man. So like I said, I appreciate what you do, man. Like I said, I've been following you for years. I appreciate your work, man. I hope everybody get the picture that this stuff, I truly believe, is by numbers. I truly believe with the sports, all the rigging, I believe, like I feel, in my opinion, it's going to be an East Coast team who's going to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't know which team. I feel like it's going to either be Buffalo or Miami. I feel it's going to be in the Super Bowl this year. Same thing with the NBA. Most times when it's a Republican president in office, most times it's normally a West Coast team to win sports. But if you notice, since Joe Biden been in office, it's been West Coast teams winning. If you notice that. So you already know in this coming year, 2024, it's going to be an East Coast team on the NBA side and an East Coast team on the NFL side. That's how that goes.
Interesting. Sorry about your brother and your uncle. And yeah, just to remind people, his uncle passed at age 73, played on the Knicks team that won the championship in 73. And back then it was called the NBA World Championship Series. And he died 133 days after his birthday, going with the gematria of NBA World Championship Series. And sadly, there's a long list of celebrity and sports-related deaths just like this. And as for your brother's murder, do you want to share any more information? I can look it up and look more into it.
Okay, so my brother was murdered in Durham, North Carolina, January 7th, 2021. And so the weird thing about it was that caught me off guard. Was like, hold up. Now, we always go visit my uncle when we were little. So, and I used to let me see what number my uncle wore. And I'm like, oh shit, see my language. He wore the number 43. My brother's life path number is 7. He wore the number 43, which sums to 7. And my brother was killed on the 7th. Now, mind you, like I said, my brother, he was from New York. He was from New York, and then, he was in North Carolina. and they murdered him. They murdered him, you know, in North Carolina. It's mysteriously 2 weeks after, it's still bugged to this day. My uncle passes away. Now, the funny thing is, I believe my uncle was born, I think, November 9th, I believe, or something like that. But my brother is eight. My brother was born April 9th. My brother was born April 9th of 83. My brother was born April 9th of 83. So I'm like, was basically my brother being named after my uncle is a correlation of him passing away, because they basically died 2 weeks apart from each other. So and he was named after my uncle. My dad named him after his brother who played for the Knicks.
Yeah, it's sad to think that might also be the real reason he was murdered. There's a lot of weird stuff. It usually happens in Winston-Salem. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes down with basketball in North Carolina, though. And I mean, you think about North Carolina and basketball, you think about the Tar Heels, you think about Jordan, Kobe getting drafted by Charlotte.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But like I said, I've been following you for years. So I always you see these stories with famous people, right? So for my brother, like, oh shit, like, what, you know, what's the odds of that? And the reason, and I'll say this to let people know that I truly believe we are controlled by numbers. Quick thing, right? Now, my brother, April 9th, 83. That's the year my brother was born, and his, you know, right? What's the odds? Me and my wife, we've been together for 12 years. The last 4 digits of her social is 4983. What's the odds of that?
Well, you have no idea how that funny that is to me, but
my brother. Like I said, so for example, my brother, when he was murdered, his daughter and my daughter are 5 days apart. 5 days apart. So, like I said, I've been following you for years. I've been telling my family about you. They're like, nah, that stuff don't make no sense. It's just a coincidence. And like I said, I've been following you for years, and I've learned just following your work, nothing is a coincidence, man. Nothing is a coincidence.
The day after your uncle died, I was gonna say the day after your uncle died, the Knicks won with 119 points, and your uncle's full name in Gematria is 119.
This is, so like I said, Zach, I live in New York, right? So I used to work for this carpet company, and I was talking to a Chinese guy about your work, right? And he said, Rich, you ever notice how you could play a video game? I said, yeah. He said, did you ever think how society or the government is controlling people the very same way as if if we are like a game, like they're controllers and we're the game, and they're just controlling us. They're playing us. Even down to the celebrities, the entertainers, the athletes, they all play the role. They all play the role. Down to the injury, like you see the Cleveland Brown player, I think he injured his leg.
Chubb, yeah.
Now, get this. If you watch that injury and Dak Prescott injury, it is very, very similar. So I say this to say that technology got so advanced that we can watch something on live TV and they can alter it. So, so we watching something on TV, we look at the injury, say, oh my God, look at that injury. But it's not that gruesome if you're down there on the field. But they have this technology where they can alter it. How is Dak Prescott playing football today? Let's be honest. That injury that he suffered, how is he playing? Paul George, how is he playing basketball? These injuries certain athletes have that we've seen with our eyes. Like, come on, man, come on. I think we're just being all controlled with these sports. The sports players, you grow down to the entertainers as well.
I mean, it is something like that.
Too much of your time, brother. I appreciate your work, man. I really do, man. And have a great night, man.
Okay, I appreciate your calling again. Sorry for your losses, but thank you for calling in and supporting and sharing that.
All right, no problem, brother.
Yeah,
have a good night.
You have a good night. Yeah, it's sad. It's not just his uncle. Another family member who he said was named after the uncle. Let's see. No caller ID.
Yo, Zach, what up, man?
What's up?
I was just wondering, How much time would you say on average you spend on gematria each day? Probably 5 or 6 hours.
A lot, yeah. I'd say at least that much time. What's the point?
Do you think your outlook on gematria has affected the way you view all conspiracy together? Do you see gematria as the absolute holy grail of all conspiracy? I'm not saying that I disagree with your work, because I spend a lot of time looking at gematria as well. I'm just wondering the grander scope that you look at.
Well, again, I mean, the reason I started looking at it is because I knew there was something going on with numbers. So,
Do you see 9/11 as the pinnacle of numerological alignment to represent for other people? Like, if you were to say what is the best example of gematria to use to show other people, would you use 9/11?
I would use 9/11.
With the 77-foot tall Pentagon, Flight 77, 77 minutes after takeoff or whatnot.
Well, again, just rewind. You said numerology. What's the master number in numerology? 11. I mean, I'd start right there with all the 11s on 9/11. New York, the 11th state. The World Trade Centers look like an 11. Flight AA11. The buildings were 110 stories tall. 110. Master number in numerology 11. Master plan by the numbers. Yeah, and then you can jump into Flight 77 and the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the anniversary of the Pentagon construction starting September 11th. So.
No, it was the first time I ever got on the line, man. I just want to say thanks, Zach. I know you get a lot of shit, and it's always back and forth, but I just think somebody like you who's as passionate about the truth is very rare. You know, somebody as well spoken as yourself who's able to piece it all together. A lot of people in the conspiracy community, they're not as good as putting it all together, man. So when you're out there speaking, you are the one that needs to be talking, dude. You know.
Well, again, we went and spoke all over the country, and somehow, some way, they figured out how to cut off the financial support for doing that. So there's consequences with doing the right thing, and that's why I'm always saying if more people can find a way to support $1 a month, it does take funds to travel. It's expensive, and yeah, I do think that's what I should be doing. Rather than decoding sports, there's other people who've learned and can decode the sports. There's not a lot of people who can go out on the street and speak gematria for hours at a time off the top of their head and make people open their eyes. And for all the people who haven't watched when we've been out on the street, there's a lot of people who stop and listen and come by and say thank and say, where do you learn all this? And wow, that's interesting. And where can I find out more? That again, I'm trying to inspire more people to do the same thing, because until more people are speaking out, like my vision right now is at every sports stadium, college and pro, there should be groups of truth seekers getting out there with signs and megaphones and loudspeakers and trying to wake people up. Look, here's the latest ritual sacrifice. Here's the latest rig script. Again, I don't think people would be filing into these stadiums week after week if they understood that people were literally being murdered for these games. And if they were, people don't realize the rigging, but they can if it's shown to them. So, anyhow, I appreciate the call.
Yeah. Take it easy, man.
All right,
Thank
you too. Later. Okay. It's amazing the way time flies. I remember the gentleman who just called in a minute ago, and this is his uncle. I remember that day I was at the post office, and I got a call while I was in the post office from a man who lives in Philly, and he told me about this story because I'd missed it initially, and he asked if I could decode it, and I'm just like, wow, that was already over 2 years ago. I mean, pretty soon it'll be 3 years ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. Oh, man. And yeah, his question about how many hours a day have I been decoding for the last decade, it is a lot of hours, and it feels like I spent a lifetime doing this now, even though it's only been a decade. So, you guys, just New York in 39. Look at this was the last game in the D-backs Yankees series. This was the World Series after 9/11. Remember, in gematria, remember every single cipher. All four ciphers, New York has a 39 connection. NY's 39 forwards. NYC's 39 in reverse. Well, that's New York City. New York, of course, is 39. And New York, NY, like you'd write the city on an envelope's 39. So New York and the city of New York has a connection to 39 in every cipher. Arizona is the only other state besides New York. When you take the alphabetic order with numerology, they're the only two states that equal 39 in that cipher. Okay, that was the World Series after 9/11. But notice, Arizona falls to 39 and 39. The day before this, the game before, on Sunday, the Yankees Diamondbacks game, Zach Gallen got his 39th career win. 39th career win here. The next day, his team's 39 and 39. The Yankees became 42 and 39 at home. And notice how Arizona, when you run it in reverse, is 42. Forge is 39. They became 42 and 39 versus Arizona. Diamondbacks is also 42. And, it's Yom Kippur and it's New York and Judaism equals 77. They stayed on 77 losses. The Diamondbacks got their 74th loss, where Jewish is 74. Judaism is 77. The most important Jewish holiday of the year. Holiday like Holy Day. Holiday is also 74, like this nation's birthday. And notice the Rangers and the Angels. Today had 41 date numerology. In the NFL, Joe Mixon got his 41st career touchdown, but LA picked up their 41st home loss on 41 date numerology. I would have been perfect today had I not reversed my decision on the Astros and Mariners. I initially had the Mariners staying on 41 home wins today, and I should have just stuck there because that was right. They did stay on 41 home wins on the 41 date numerology. And the Giants. The Giants are the most 25 team in baseball. They love this number, the Giants, 25. And again, it's the 25th of the month. It's the Super 25 date. And here, we'll pull up the NL West standings here. The NL West standings, the Giants made the Padres 25 and 25 by the Padres losing today. So, again, the games are rigged. What's up, DK?
Hey, Zach. I just tuned in a few minutes ago. I'm listening to what you're talking about. I wanted to throw in a couple things, if that's okay.
Sure.
Well, first, just going off the title, Deion Sanders again, another Jewish name. What's the best running back?
Wait, how's that a Jewish name though? How is Deion Sanders a Jewish name?
You didn't know Sanders is a Jewish name? You got Bernie Sanders, Colonel Sanders. I mean, Sanders is kind of a popular. Larry Sanders, the guy that writes, was that Seinfeld? Yeah, that's a major, pretty big time Jewish name actually.
It says Sanders is of Greek origin.
What?
Who's a famous Jewish Sanders?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. Okay, Bernie. Yeah, Bernie Sanders. Okay, there's one.
Larry Sanders, the writer, the guy who does Seinfeld.
No, that's Larry David.
Oh, Larry David, yeah.
But Bernie Sanders is one. Okay, Bernie Sanders. Yeah. I don't think Sanders is always a Jewish name, though.
Huh?
I don't think it's always a Jewish name, though, Sanders. Like Silverstein, Goldberg. Those are Jewish names for sure, but... Okay, anyway, yeah, you're right. There is Bernie Sanders.
A lot of the ER last names are, because we got to remember these people have interbred with a lot of Goyim and changed their names. So they're actually Nazis, that's why, it's the Bavarian Illuminati, which are all fake Jews, but, they're Nazis from Bavaria, so they're hiding behind a lot of these, just behind a lot of these names, ER at the end, or IN, or Ski, or EN, like Biden, Braden, Borden, like these are all, and they don't all necessarily look the same. They don't all look like the guy who unplugged your mic and then the guy who sprayed, what he sprayed like lighter fluid. By the way, please, somebody, while I'm there, come try to unplug the mic or do something like that. You're going to get yanked from the back of your neck so hard. It'll probably give you whiplash first. If you don't end up on the ground, I'll be pretty surprised. But I would like to see somebody do that when I'm there. If anyone come pour lighter fluid, you're going to be going to the dentist afterwards. You pour anything near me or anything like that, I guarantee you're getting chin checked hard as fuck. So, And I just to talk a little bit more about that trip, I thought that Austin guy was really good. Where he lives up there?
Yeah, he lives near Seattle.
Yeah, that guy was great. getting on the mic and stuff. I thought just a few more people like that in every place you go would be, you'd be set. And then just, like people kind of standing around just watching for infiltrators. And then you were talking a lot about like Nike and Saturn and all that, and Nike's just a reshuffling of Enki, which Enki and Enlil are from the Saturn Moon Matrix, story. So, and then you remember what the quarter was for 2020, the new quarter?
Wait, for which year? Are you talking about right at the start of COVID with the fruit bat?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely remember the fruit bat.
Before you Google this one, what do you think the new one is now? I bet you can get
I thought the last one they did was the Tuskegee Airmen.
Well, the one that's coming out right now, actually, should I say? I don't know. Maybe it hasn't hit the...
It's a different series of coins then, because that one that the fruit bat was a part of, I remember they said the last one and whatever that was the Tuskegee Airmen. And then they put a 4-2 on the planes. There's 2 planes on it, and one has a 4 on it, and the other has a 2, so they even had to put 42 on that. But what is the new coin?
Before you Google it, just what's the biggest story you've done so far this year?
Maui?
Yep.
Oh, Maui's going on the quarter?
No, it's a Hawaiian lady.
Like a luau.
You can pull it up, but it's the same thing again, just like the bat,
Huh.
Just about the biggest story we've had so far this year. And I think now they're coming out. I've seen like a bunch of new quarters where they come out with like a series of them instead of just like one. They come out with a series for the year or something.
Okay. The new series of quarters is American Women. So yeah, the one that's coming out is a tribute to a Hawaiian composer.
Yeah. Of course, that's just a coincidence. No big deal there.
And by the way, since we're bringing up Maui, today on Yom Kippur, the Jewish governor, Josh Green, who was, again, traveling abroad when it happened, preaching Green New Deal, he gave his latest speech today, and today was the anniversary of JFK's weather control speech. So,
and then to get back to Deion Sanders, and he's prime time. Have you ever heard of the Prime Directive?
I don't think so.
Yeah, check that out. Bring up Prime Directive for these evil folks.
Prime Directive.
Yeah. And I think, that's always where I thought they've gotten the, prime time television, and then they named, Deion's nickname was Prime Time because he was always on Prime Time TV and being like the star. But
is this Prime? When I searched it, what came up was Star Trek.
Yeah, that's funny. That Star Trek did talk about that. But the Prime Directive for them is all truth must be disclosed. So that's what all the Hollywood and all the magic is for, is so they can tell us the truth in a magical way so we don't react. Because normally if you tell the truth to somebody that you're doing a bunch of evil shit to them and you're trying to, steal from them and, poison their children and all that stuff, they're going to come after you. But if you tell them in a different way, in a way that where it's entertainment, they're going to be kind of stuck like a deer in headlights and not necessarily react. So their prime directive has always been all truth must be disclosed. They're not trying to hide anything, maybe for the sheeple, but you see how easy it is for us to see everything that they're doing. It's so obvious. It's not even, it's like a joke, it's it literally is for retards, So,
right.
I think that's why, he got this, that's why he got that nickname Primetime, like the other caller was saying. He's wearing all his, his Jesus jewelry, and the guy's always was wearing the dark glasses. And then they made a big deal on ESPN how he was doing an interview with no glasses. Did you see that? Yeah, they made a big deal of it. Oh look, he's not wearing glasses. He's not wearing the black. Because remember, he used to always do the post-game interviews in sunglasses.
Sure.
Yeah, so they made a story of that It's deep. It's prime time. No sunglasses, and they did it was like they talked about that for like 15 minutes, which is like seems ridiculous unless they really, that was just part of the script how they had to talk about it.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Anyway, so just I tried to call in, or I was gonna call in for TFR, but then when I tuned in at the end, you were playing like some other show, so I didn't really know what was going on. That's why I didn't call in.
Oh yeah, I was playing the Woo's News thing.
Yeah,
the call board wasn't working that night for whatever reason. So.
Oh really? Okay. Yeah, I was kind of just in and out of the show here and there, so I figured you were doing something, so that's why I didn't call.
Okay, yeah, I'll be doing it again this Wednesday night.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, DK.
All right. Talk to you soon, Zach.
Yeah, later, man. So, just for people who don't know, I'm from Portland, Oregon originally. I just see this headline that Damian Lillard, the Blazers star, is supposed to be traded to the Raptors. Just, he's a point guard, and when you think of Blazers history, you might recall Damon Stoudemire, Mighty Mouse. He was actually from Portland, Oregon, played at Wilson High School, but he was drafted by the Raptors, was Rookie of the Year, and then he got shipped to the Blazers, where he was on the team that tanked in the fourth quarter instead of going to the NBA Finals with Scottie Pippen and co. and Rasheed Wallace and everybody that was on that team. They had like the most stacked NBA roster in the history of NBA rosters, but they laid down in that fourth quarter, gave up nearly a 20-point lead, and didn't even play basketball to let the Lakers go to the finals in the very fixed NBA that is. And that's why I get frustrated that people can't see through how stupid pro sports are. I mean, they're a joke in all these leagues. Go back and watch the Game 7 that I'm talking about with Lakers and Blazers. It's the one where you get the highlight of Kobe throwing the alley-oop to Shaq. Blazers didn't even play basketball in that fourth quarter. Damon was on that team. But yeah, that's weird that Lillard would now get shipped to Toronto. And they're saying he'll be traded by October 2nd. Remember the other year when I explained why Ben Simmons was going to get traded on February 10th? And he did. It's a sick joke. For people who don't know, February 10th is the day Black History Month was officially recognized by the federal government in 76. February 10th, 76. Ben Simmons got traded on that day as the 76er. But here's the joke. Slavery is 102. The American Civil War began on the 102nd day of the year. February 10th can be written 10/2 like 102. And again, it was recognized in the year 76, slave 76. We were talking days in advance why they would trade Ben Simmons on February 10th. And there's more to it as well. I have to go back and look at everything. But what is it? Australia? Australia is also 102 where he's from, and there were a whole lot more elements to that, but I just remember the February 10th. Ben Simmons is 42, like February, like slavery, like again the rest of that list, like Deion Sanders being down 42-0, and where slavery in gematria equals 42 and 102. God, it's also 87. I forgot about that. Slavery is also 87, going with the whole 87 thing with the Buffaloes and the 87 points and the 87 new players. But you see the N-word? The N-word's also got that 42 and 102 in it. So familiar patterns. And now will it happen again? Will they trade Lillard on October 2nd? The latest joke? Right here. October 2nd. By October 2nd. The other 10-2 date. Okay. Charm One's got the call-in number. Thank you, Melissa T, for your generosity. I appreciate the 20. John Mendoza, thank you again as always, friend. Great observation. Gematria sense with Andy Reid getting that symbolic 271st win. Remember when Andy Reid won the Super Bowl, he got his 269th win, which is the 57th prime number. Andy Reid got the 269th win to win Super Bowl 57. And Again, there were a few 57s in that game, and they all stacked in favor of Kansas City. Okay. All right, well, if we don't have any more calls, we can wrap it up as well. It is getting late, especially if you're on the East Coast. And yeah, again, you want to learn more about decoding sports, join us on Patreon. We're live streaming at least 3 times a week, notes every day for the sports. And again, learn this knowledge, use it to wake up your friends and family. And again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Some people leave comments like the other day when I posted the written post for the bombs over Baghdad thing. Someone left a comment like, "This is something I can actually share." It's like, what does that even mean? I feel like every video I make, you can actually share. So, if you guys missed what I was talking about with the bombs over Baghdad, again, Outkast, the hip-hop group who did the hit song before 9/11 happened, Bombs Over Baghdad, a song that it's obvious that it's obvious the record label gave him that title for the song because the song doesn't have anything to do with any of that. But again, we invaded Iraq because of 9/11, and that song, the single, released exactly 54 weeks before 9/11. Huge number with the Jesuits who run the show. Baghdad, Iraq, Jesuit Order, both 54. And again, you guys, the world of entertainment, from the sports to the music to the movies, the cabal is in control of it all, and that's why all these things work out the way they do. Like Super Bowl 56, the Rams with the Ukraine colors, and then Russia-Ukraine, and what else was going on? You had Sean McVay, the coach, with the Ukrainian fiance, and Alec Baldwin smoking the Ukrainian woman on the set of Rust right before it all went down. 661, what's up?
Hey, Zach, did you cover, I just barely tuned in, did you cover Zelensky meeting with Trudeau in Canada and the Parliament, like giving a standing ovation to a World War II vet that turned out to be a Ukrainian Nazi?
Trudeau's a Jesuit. Let's see.
Because what what's his name was just saying, what he was just saying about them, they have to do this prime directive or whatever. It's like that has to be the most epic one. I'm surprised he didn't mention that. I guess that just happened today.
It looks like the news actually broke yesterday, but yesterday was also, well, hold on. Well, because now we're getting into late night, so.
Well, I just heard of it today, so anyways, it made me laugh. It's like, it's in our face, dude.
And again, this happens during Yom Kippur, which is the most Jewish holy day, so think about that.
It's like, if people can't see that wasn't a friggin', I mean, it's theater. It's theater.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, I just want to see if you could look into that, or maybe you want to mention it sometime. But
yeah, here.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't know about it before you just called in, but it's funny. I was looking into Trudeau's remarks about the Indian assassination earlier today, so I'll look into this as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, people. It's so simple. But yet people can't see it. And what I like about your work...
Hey, look at this. Look at this. So this happened on Sunday, the day leaving 98 days left in the year, and the man just happened to be 98 years old. And the NFL had so many rituals with 98 going on Sunday, the day leaving 98 days left in the year. So just like how the NFL was full of 98 rituals, here you got a 98-year-old man.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, what a joke.
It's a joke, but it's too sad that it's real, because it really is the Fourth Reich, and just because Zelensky's Jewish doesn't mean he can't be a Nazi, because there's Jewish Nazis, there's plenty of them, like Soros and Kissinger.
Well, again, say it out loud.
Collaborators that are going along, and then we have all these other collaborators, which are the Republicans and Democrats, which are just worthless, So
what I like about what I was going to say is that what I like about your work and what the most important thing beyond the sports and everything is just, I knew all this stuff already. But then when I found your work, it was like, okay, I'm not nuts. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is an actual conspiracy. And that's what Gematria does. It does prove that. Period. That's the end of it. That's all people need, and that's what I appreciate when you go out there. When you came out to LA, I was out, and I'm going to come out again and try to bring some people because, bottom line, that's the truth, man. And the truth hurts, and people can't handle the truth. And but there's nothing else to do except for tell that truth. That's the ultimate thing of all this, and your work is proof. That's what I like about it, because all the stuff a lot of us already had looked into all this stuff. We knew what's going on. We could see which way the wind's blowing. We figured things out. There's other people. There's Jordan Maxwell and there's Bill Cooper and other people that came. And if you research, you could find stuff out. But what Gematria does is absolutely, factually, statistically proves it.
Indeed. So
yeah. I'll leave it at that and just say I appreciate you, man. Have a good night, and thanks for all the other callers, too.
All right. Appreciate the call. Take care.
Right,
thanks.
Okay. Good night.
Yeah, it is funny, man. Just the NFL was full of 98. Even like in Sunday Night Football, Devontae Adams got his 98th career NFL touchdown. Minnesota picked up their 98th loss versus the AFC. I forget. There were some other ones. Number 98 for the Raiders was having a big game on defense. I forget everything that was 98 yesterday, but what are the odds that on the day leaving 98 days left in the year, this happens? And perhaps there's something more to that number than I know. But yeah, just the mockery. They love mocking people of all religions. And the point I was going to make about Ashkenazi Jews, again, that's what they're called, right? They're Ashkenazis. Has the word Nazi in it, literally. And if you don't know about what was going on with the Bolshevik Revolution, you had a lot of Jewish people that were wearing the Star of David and the swastika as part of the uniform. They don't talk so much about the Bolshevik Revolution. It was going on at the same time as World War II. So I don't know enough about Canadian politics, but this is the guy who saluted the Nazi Anthony Rota. Yeah, I'm going to have to look more into this one. I'm going to have to look more into it. Wonder if he's Jesuit educated like Trudeau is. And don't forget Trudeau. His father was also the PM. Okay, but yeah. We got a diversity of calls. We got a little bit away from sports. I haven't looked at tomorrow's baseball games yet. I'll put out all the baseball information in the morning. Yeah. Got to do the work. It does take a minute. There's a lot of stats to comb through, so. Oklahoma City fair shooting. I didn't hear about it. Was that a big story? ABC News. Yeah, it looks like it got national attention. Vince Neil. This is coming up. This happens right before the anniversary of the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting, which is also a concert-related shooting. Motley Crue concert, Vince Neil. Okay, I didn't hear about this, so Saturday, September 23rd. That's the 266th day of the year. Again, Jesuit Maria Susanum Salvator, 266, like how we're living in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, who's the 266th Pope in the history of the Church, who spoke in D.C. on that day in 2015. And then this year he was speaking in France on that day, and the Jesuits are from France, Pope Francis. Here, let me see if there's something that stands out about Vince Neil's date of birth and how it lines up with this event. Vincent Neil Wharton. He's from California. It happened 227 days after his birthday, the 49th prime. I don't know enough about him or the band to know if there's a connection there, but Oh, actually, you know what? It did happen 227 days after his birthday. It also happened on his 228th day of his age. That's a death number if you're new here. The word death in Sumerian gematria, which is just multiplying the alphabetic order times 6, that's 228. And well, it doesn't look like anybody died. It wasn't a deadly shooting though. Unless it's going to be one of those stories where it comes days later that a victim is passed in the hospital. Let me see. Oklahoma State Fair. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was a ritual or not. I have to do some more homework on it. I don't know enough about Motley Crue's music. Yeah, United States of America, of course, is 228, just like Martin Luther King Jr. And again, the only born American with a holiday named after him is Martin Luther King Jr., who had to die to get the holiday named after him. I'm definitely aware of the band Motley Crue. I just am not real familiar with their music, so I don't know if there's anything about the band that would factor in with OKC. The reason I remember the numbers is because I talk about them every day, you know. If you worked with this information as much as I did, you would know all the numbers just like I do too. So I guarantee you that much. It's all about repetition. All right, but yeah, for all you guys who are here for the sports, you know, the one caller who made an observation about if the Royals finish the year strong, that is something to pay attention to. Remember, Patrick Mahomes, his father was a pro baseball player, and baseball's a game of 54 outs, and baseball equals 54 in the most simple cipher. And what was the first Super Bowl that Mahomes won? It was Super Bowl 54, which was the Joe Montana Bowl. Chiefs over Niners, Joe Montana's teams. Notice Joe Montana's got the 54 like baseball. But again, Mahomes' first Super Bowl 54. This year is Super Bowl 58. Super Bowl 58 is the 54th Super Bowl of the modern era. So that is something to think about. And you might be noticing how baseball's 162 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, like how there's a 162 game season. And if you just run the alphabetic order forwards, Major League Baseball is also 162. But I was going to say, the observation the caller had about the Royals, if they do finish the year 58-104, I mean, that's definitely something to keep in mind. So the Royals right now, they got 6 games left. They'd have to win 4 of the last 6. That's asking a lot for the Royals. But it's possible. And again, Mahomes' first season as a starter, the Royals did go 58-104. By the way, yesterday in Major League Baseball, you had very interesting rituals going on with Cleveland and Baltimore. Again, in 96. Here, let me show you this real quick. So yesterday you had Baltimore playing Cleveland. Now, again, these cities are connected through the NFL because in 96, the Cleveland Browns became the Baltimore Ravens, and in Gematria, Baltimore Ravens equals 96. But Kyle Gibson yesterday in this game on a Sunday while the NFL was going on, Harbaugh yesterday, he lost, but Harbaugh, the Ravens coach, came into the game with 104 career losses in the 104th season. And Kyle Gibson yesterday got his 104th career win in Baltimore, Cleveland. And again, the Baltimore Ravens owner and their general manager, 2 different people, both have the same birthday, 10/4. So many deaths in this offseason were about 104, including Jim Brown, which equals 104, who played for the Browns, of course. And, you know, Baltimore winning 5-1, that's a big number in Cleveland, 51, when LeBron won the finals for the Cavs on the real King James's birthday. It was the first championship for Cleveland in 51 years. And then Jim Brown died out in LA this year, where LeBron now is, as he was having that big series synced up with the King in his coronation. Remember how LeBron became 5-6 at home versus Curry in the playoffs on the day of the King's coronation on 5-6, the first King to be coronated since the last one died at age 56. But anyway, you had this ritual going on in baseball with these teams. And again, you just got to keep track of all these clues. They always are, all the sports are rigged together. And you keep track of the clues. You can figure out who the prime teams are for the playoffs. And between now and the end of the season, there'll probably be a team that has a stack of rituals that are just so undeniable that they're looking like the team. And then more often than not, you're right, that's the team if you're keeping track of the clues. So Baltimore's had a bunch of 104 things. Kansas City has some clues. Miami just did have that really big ritual this weekend, but wasn't exactly Super Bowl numbers. It's still it's narrative to keep an eye on because it was a major ritual. There was one more thing I wanted to say about this, and it's slipping from my mind. The Orioles, well, this wasn't what I was going to say, but yeah, the Orioles stayed on 59 losses versus the newly named Guardians, which equals 59 as well. So, the other thing I wanted to say fell out of my brain. What was it? Oh well, it'll come back to me if it was that important. I'm just going to ignore a comment in the chat. The names mentioned are doing a detriment to this research and its importance. So Derek's charging a premium for the calculator as well. So Cleveland played Baltimore in the 1996 playoffs. Yeah, that's fitting. That's fitting that they would do that, right? Because that was also the year that Cleveland became Baltimore. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. The other half. Just the big upset, or it wasn't it was a pretty solid upset. The Colts, originally from Baltimore, where the Ravens now are. Notice they won 22-19. It was on 22 date numerology. They won with 22, but 41 points. Baltimore number. Baltimore's 41. Again, Baltimore's also 95, like how the Super Bowl's on the Vatican's 95th birthday, and Baltimore's also 58. But notice, Baltimore Ravens 96, Colts 69. And yesterday with the Colts upsetting Baltimore, they became 6-9 versus Baltimore. Baltimore fell to 9-6 versus the Colts. And then the Browns yesterday, Cleveland, they got their 503rd franchise win. That's the 96th prime number. Deshaun Watson got his 34th win. Tennessee equals 34. Tannehill stayed on 33 road wins. Cleveland's 33. Goff got his 56th win in week 3. When you spell out 3 as a word, it's 56. Saints-Packers was the game that kicked us in the nuts yesterday. But if you're real-time betting, the sign the Packers were going to finish that comeback was when they went for 2 points for no reason and made the score 11-17. They ended up getting their 11th home win over the Saints. Again, Dolphins looked good to win when Alabama won with 24 points. Tua got his 24th win on the 24th day. Chargers and Vikings, I didn't really see anything that really tore me one way or the other, but Minnesota did end up getting their 98th loss versus the AFC on the day, leaving 98 days left in the year. Stuff like that can be hit and miss, but it hit in that game. Bill Belichick got his 263rd win in week 3 when 3 Jets on 9-11, the 3 that hit targets added up to 263. At the beginning of the season, I pointed that out, that Bill Belichick might not get that 263rd win until this game against the Jets. Exactly what they did. Josh Allen got his 58th total win and his 54th regular season win. DC's the land of the Jesuits and the Masons. Freemasonry 58, Jesuit Order 54. 40 points on a 40-date numerology. Texans gave the Jaguars their 112th home loss as a franchise in the regular season. Houston won 12. Colts upset the Ravens like we just talked about. Seattle, the 94 city, became 9-4 versus Panthers, plus about 5 million other things. They were celebrating their Super Bowl 48 win. A decade ago at this game, Dalton got his 48th road loss. Seahawks equals 48. Dalton got his 82nd career loss. Seattle equals 82. I loved this game a lot, the Seattle over Panthers, and I like the over in that game as well. You could argue that was our best game of the week. I like the Chiefs to win by at least 14 in the 14th meeting of the Bears and Chiefs. They destroyed them. They won by 31, where Chiefs equals 31, but KC's 14. Again, Cardinals stayed on 56 all-time losses versus the Cowboys in week 3, where 3 and 56 have the powerful relationship. Steelers got the 74th win versus the AFC West as a franchise. Raiders equals 74. And notice there were 41 points in this game. This was the this was the Steelers' 41st franchise win in week 3 with 41 points. 41's the Super Bowl number. The story was this morning they had an emergency landing in Kansas City. The defending Super Bowl champions who play in the same division as the Raiders, who won with 41 points this week. So again, these are things to pay attention to, these rituals. You know, I doubt that there was really an emergency with the Steelers playing. Again, rituals, clues, things they do during the year that can help foreshadow the script to come. And again, when Raiders lost last night, home teams became 8-6 for the week. Las Vegas 86. Again, just sometimes it can be this simple. Las Vegas 86, then the Bucs lost, making home teams 8-7. Philadelphia Eagles, if I can type here, equals 87, just like Monday Night Football is 87. And then the Bengals won to make home teams 9-7 on the day, leaving 97 days left in the year. And again, when you write out September 25th, it's also 97. So... And like we teach year after year, the entire league is scripted together. So often in a week, things like that will happen. And doesn't mean every game's easy to call, though, because the thing you had to think twice about with the Eagles and Bucs game, Eagles did even the series at 5-5 on the Bucs field on 5-date numerology, which made a lot of sense. And winning with 25 in Tampa Bay on the 25th, and again, the day leaving 97 days left near the 25th prime. The thing that was tricky is the Eagles had a chance to get their 25th regular season win versus the NFC South, or if you count their postseason record with the NFC South, they could have also got their 25th all-time loss versus the NFC South, so the 25 could have played either way, and Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni both came in with 25 wins as well, but they advanced off of it, but again, just a 25-point game and 25 land Tampa Bay. And again, at the beginning of this year's baseball season, that number was just smoking so hard in Rays games, and even like where Rays were like huge favorites in a game, the games where the 25 was going against them, they would lose. And it's been a thing for years, Tampa Bay and 25. It's always been a good number. But, yeah, and the thing that made it tricky with the Rams game tonight, again, following the 8-7, 9-7 thing made a lot of sense, but no 56 ritual had failed this week in week 3 until the Rams game in the rematch of Super Bowl 56, and it seems funny they would do that. But Stafford could have stayed on 56 all-time road losses. He did get his 57th instead. He came in with the 56. And the other thing Stafford did is Stafford came in with 56 road losses and 102 regular season losses. And again, Super Bowl 56 was the 102nd NFL season. So you can see why he walked in with that record, but he did not stay on those. He picked up his 103rd regular season loss and his 57th road loss. But yeah, that was the only 56 that failed. So that's what makes it, impossible to be perfect with the knowledge, but still, just paying attention. If you're not gambling, it's not as frustrating, but you can just see how it's all scripted and just so perfectly planned out. And again, for the person who keeps looking at all this and being like, that's got to be a coincidence, that's got to be a coincidence, the Deion thing's got to be a coincidence. I mean, if you're that person, you're just a moron. I'm sorry. You're just a moron if you think all this stuff's a coincidence. You're just like a mental midget and honestly a product of the New World Order who wants people as dumb as a box of rocks, because that way they're a million times easier to control. That way they'll walk into a stadium with a totally rigged game and pay $20 for a hot dog and a beer. I mean, intelligent people aren't doing that. I'll tell you that much. So, all right, we'll leave it there, True Seeker. Yeah, he did get his 57th loss on the 57 date numerology, but I was still thinking that the 356 thing would prevail. So, yeah, Jimmy Carter. They've been reporting that Jimmy Carter's on his deathbed all year. He'll turn 99 on October 1st, is it? Is that Jimmy Carter's birthday, October 1st? He's almost there. Yeah, October 1st. And he's the oldest living U.S. president. He's about to turn 99. And remember, the United States of America equals 99 and was named that on September 9th. So there's probably something about Jimmy turning 99. And again, he has the parallels with Biden, too. Remember, they called Georgia on Jimmy's 46th day of his age, if I remember correctly. If Jimmy dies, you get a day off. That's funny. Oh, man. All right, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Again, thanks to everyone who hits the like and the share. And come join us on the Patreon. Learn more about the rigging. Gary, the numbers guy. He studies there. Without me, he'd really be shit. Anyway, till next time.